This is the third video of chapter 1, the story of village Palampur, economics. This is video number 3rd. In this video, we will move further. As we know, in the previous videos, we have covered the overview. We read the story of village Palampur. In next page, we cover the 4 essential features or factors of production: land, labor, physical capital. Fixed capital and working capital is also the part of physical capital, and the fourth one is human capital, which we will read in the next chapter. There we farming in the we read about the farming in Palampur. The first point we cover, the land is fixed, so land is one of the asset. Second point was, it is there a way one can grow more crop, one more from same land, means more crops with multiple cropping. Second topic, and this is the second topic where we compare the traditional method of the farming and the modern method of farming. In the next page, we also read about the third point, will the land sustain, means we talked about the importance of the green revolution and the harmful effect of modern facilities like tube wells or chemical fertilizers. In this video, we will move further. Fourth point, how is land distributed between the farmers of Palampur? You must have realized how important land is for farming. Unfortunately, not all the people engaged in the agriculture have sufficient land for cultivation. In Palampur, about one-third of the 450 families are landless. That is 150 families. Most of them, Dalits, have no land for cultivation. So, we understand there is uneven distribution of land among the people of village Palampur. Of the remaining families who own land, 240 families cultivate small plots of land less than 2 hectares in size. Cultivation of such plots doesn't bring adequate income to the farmer family. So there is a less land, so they don't have surplus amount for selling. Look this in picture, distribution of the cultivation of land. Some people have very less area for cultivation and some people have more area of cultivation. So there is a uneven distribution of land in the people of Palampur. You can see the large number of the small plots scattered around the village in the picture. These are cultivated by small farmers. On the other hand, more than half of the area of the village is covered by plots that are quite large in size. In Palampur, there are 60 families of medium and large farmers who cultivate more than 2 hectares of land. A few of the large farmers have land extending over 10 hectares or more. So we can compare this small areas with the big areas. So these are the areas for rich farmer or farmer having more land under their control, and these are the areas where the farmers are having less land area, less than 2 acres. And this is a story here. In 1960, Govind was a farmer with 2.25 hectares of the largely unaerated land. Unaerated land means there was no facility of water. With the help of his 3 sons, Govind cultivated land, though they didn't live very comfortably. The family managed to feed itself with a little bit of extra income from one buffalo that the family possessed. Some years after Govind's death, this land was divided among his three sons. Each one now has a plot of the land that is only 0.75 hectares in size. Even with the improved irrigation and modern farming methods, Govind's sons are not able to make a living from their land. They have to look for additional work during part of the year. So it means that land area is reduced after one generation. So the area, although previously it was large, but it divides among their son sons, so area reduces and the business is not possible through less area of cultivation. The next page we can see here in this picture working on the fields. So there are the different types of the work going on farming field. First picture we can see the ploughing by bullock. There is a plough and there in this picture there is a spraying of insecticides, and this is the spraying of seeds, and there is a use of modern methods like tractor, etc. In the picture 1.5, in the previous page we saw this picture 1.5, there is a distribution of cultivated land. You can you shade the land cultivated by small farmer, small areas? Why do so many families of the farmers cultivate such small plots of land? The distribution of the farmers in India and the amount of land they cultivated is given in the following graph 1.1. Discuss in the classroom. This is the cultivated area and the number of the farmers. Number of the farmers are more, having less area, and the cultivated area is more, the number of farmers are less. So we can see there is an unequal distribution among the farmers. The rich farmers are less and their cultivated area is more, and the poor farmers are more in number and their area of cultivation is less. Would you agree that the distribution of cultivated land is unequal of the Palomar? Yes, we are agree because we can see through this graph that area of cultivation is uneven distributed among rich and poor farmers. Fifth point, who will provide the labor? After land, labor is the next necessary factor for production. The second important factor is labor, the working people. Farming requires a great deal of hard work. Small farmers among with their families cultivate their own field. Poor farmers cultivate their own field because their area of cultivation is also less, so they can do their work himself or themselves. But the large farmer, big farmers, they need labor for cultivation work. Thus, they provide the labor required for farming themselves. Medium and large farmers hire farm laborer to work on their fields. They are in need of laborers so that they can do their work in their agricultural land. Identify the work being done by this. Farmers' laborers come either from the landless families or families cultivating the small plots of land. Unlike farmers, farm laborers do not have the right over the crop grown on the land. Instead, they are paid wages, so they are working under daily wages or the wage laborer by the farmers for whom they work. Wages can be in the cash or in kind, either in the money form or in the goods form. Wages vary widely from region to region, so it is different from different places, or different farmers, very rich farmers provide different amount of money from crop to crop also. Season to season differences also there. From one farm activities to another like sowing and harvesting. There is also a wide variation in the duration of employments. There is a difference uh, among their working and their duration of the employment is also varies place to place. A farm laborer might be employed on a daily wages, so they are getting daily payments in some big farms, or for one particular farm activity like harvesting or for the whole year. So their income is also uncertain. They are getting, some are getting more and some are getting not. There is a one example is given here. Dala is a landless farm laborer who works on the daily wages in Palampur. This means he must regularly look for work. The minimum wages for a farm laborer set by the government is 300 per day, March 2017. So 300 rupees is compulsory daily wages, but Dara gets only 160 rupees. There is heavy competition for work among the farm laborers in Palampur. So people agree to work for low wages. There is a lot of competition among the poor laborer. So there is a cheap labor, for, and they are working in the low wages. Dala complains about his situation to Ram Kali, who is another farm laborer. Both Dala and Ram Kali are among the poorest people in the village. So we can now understand they are the poor laborers and they are working under the rich farmers. Why are farm laborers like Dala and Rukmari poor? Because why they are poor? Because they are not getting good wages, and secondly their land is also not sufficient. Gosaipur and the Mojili are two villages in North Bihar. Out of a total of 850 households in the two villages, there are more than 250 men who are employed in the rural Punjab and Haryana or in Delhi, Mumbai, Surat, Hyderabad, or Nagpur. Such migration is common in most villages across India. Why do people migrate? Can you describe, based on your imagination, the work that the migrants of Gosaipur and the Mojuli might do at the place of destination? So that they are poor, there is a lot of competition in the village. So these people used to go in big cities like Surat, Mumbai, Delhi, where they are engage themselves in other activities to get their bread and butter. So they are engaged in other activities except farming activities which they used to perform in village. Point number 6. The capital needed in farming. Capital means money or basic requirements needed in farming activities. You have already seen that the modern farming methods require a great deal of capital. We know that modern methods need a lot of money. Primarily, we have to invest so that the farmer now needs more money than before. So, the traditional method, less amount of money is required for starting agricultural work. But in modern tech method, lot of investment is required in the primary stage. First number, most small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. They are getting money from different people or loan, whatsoever. They borrow from large farmers, but basic trend is they used to borrow the money from the large farmers or the village money lenders or the traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loans is very high. They are put to great distress to repay the loan. Ultimately, they are under the clutch of loan. So their interest rates were high and they have to pay the money in the high interest to their local money lenders, particularly traders and big farmers or suppliers of the loan. In contrast to the small farmers, the medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. They have already have enough money to purchase the things. Middle class farmers or large farmers, they are thus able to arrange for the capital needed. So whatever capital money is required for purchasing the things in initial period, they can do it easily because they have sufficient amount of money to purchase those things. How do these farmers have their own savings? You shall find answer in the next session. Next session we cover all these things. Let's read the story given. Savita is a small farmer. She plans to cultivate wheat on her 1 hectare of land. Besides seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides, she needs cash to buy water and repair her farm instruments. She estimates that the working capital itself would cost a minimum of rupees 3000. She doesn't have the money, so she decides to borrow from Tejpal Singh, a large farmer. Tejpal Singh agrees to give Savita the loan at interest rate of 24% for 4 months, which is a very high interest rate. Savita also has to promise to work on his field as a farm laborer during the harvest season at rupees 100 per day. She was agreed to work under him for rupees 100 per day as on daily wages. As you can tell, these wages are quite low. Savita knows that she will have to work very hard to complete harvesting on her own field and then work as a farm laborer for Tejpal Singh. The harvest time is a very busy time. As a mother of 3 children, she has a lot of household responsibilities. Savita agrees to these tough conditions as she knows getting a loan is difficult for a small farmer. She knew that it is very hard for her to get the loan from the banks. So she decided to get the loan from a local person, Tejpal, and she agreed on two tough conditions. First, the condition was 25% of loan, and second condition that she has to work as a farm laborer. So both the conditions is tough, and she had also responsibility of 3 children and household activities. Let's discuss the story so far. So up to now we have covered the three factors: land, labor, capital, and how they are used in farming. So we have already covered these 3 points in this video and the previous 2 videos. So on that basis, let us fill in the blanks given below. So go through this, fill in the blanks, and complete this by reading the story once again from the book. Next point is seventh one, sale of surplus farm products. So surplus farm products means the product which is not used at home but it is for the market. So it is in the that surplus amount can be sold in the market areas. Let us suppose that the farmers have produced wheat on their lands using the 3 factors of production, the 3 factors we discussed in just now. The wheat is harvested and production is complete. Now the thing is complete. What do the farmer do with the wheat? Now the other question, the major question, what the farmers do when the production is in surplus? They retain a part of the wheat for the family's consumption and sell the surplus wheat. The two options were there. The first one is retained and second one is to sell the surplus wheat. Small farmers like Savita and Govind's son have little surplus wheat because their total production is small, and from this a substantial share is kept for their own family needs. So they can use those product for their families and relatives. So it is the medium and the large farmers who supply wheat to the market. So it is a duty or having rights to sell the product in the market by those farmers who are in middle class or rich farmers. In the picture 1.1 you can see the bullock cart streaming into the market, each carrying loads of the wheat. The traders at the market buy the wheat and sell it further to the shopkeepers in the town and cities. So the traders at the market buy the wheat and then this sell it again to the shopkeepers in the towns or cities. Tejpal Singh, the large farmer, has a surplus of 350 quintals of the wheat from the from all his lands. He sells the surplus wheat at the Raiganj market and has good earnings. So he is getting good profit out of it because he has 350 quintals of wheat. What does Tejpal do with the earning last year? Tejpal had put most of the money in his bank account. So he saves the money as a profit in the bank account. Later, he used the savings for lending to farmers like Savita who were in need of loan. So he used to give the money to the poor villagers of poor farmers in high rates. He also used the savings for arrange for the working capital for the farming in the next season. He also purchased some equipments, machines, or modern things for next seasons. This year, Tejpal plans to use his earnings to buy another tractor. The planning was His planning was to purchase a new tractor. Another tractor would increase his fixed capital. Will the that become the part of his fixed capital. Like Tejpal Singh, other large and medium farmers sell the surplus farm products. So, other farmers of the middle range or higher range, the rich farmers, they used to sell the product in the market. A part of the earning is saved and kept for the buying capital for the next season. Thus, they are able to arrange for the capital for farming from their own savings. Some farmers might also use the savings to buy cattle. Some farmers were interested in the cattle, some are trucks or to set up shops. Some are also engaged in other activities like shops or they start new business. As we shall see, these constitute the capital for non-farm activities. So we see from the rich farmers or middle class farmers, they use the money, they started getting money from the farming activities, but surplus amount of money they invest in other activities. So the next topic is the non-farming activities in Palampur. This topic we cover in next video.